All right, I think we can probably get started. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so welcome to the July 28th installment of the KubeVirt SIG storage meeting. We'll go ahead and just jump right into the first agenda item around VEP 53. So I'll go ahead and get that opened. All right. German, that's yours. You want to take it away?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, just to basically it's more a question if I want to know if there is any possibility to get this for the next version 1.7. Or if someone can take a look and if I can work on that basically. Because we already have like a half of the functionality of the line migration virtual FSD merged only for config maps and secrets and that type of resources. And this is the part that is missing for PVCs, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So more to have like a sense if is any possibility that there is like some people that can look into it or
Have we had I know that in the previous round we had like prioritization meetings, or like I always forget there's like a dashboard that has the VEPs on it and there's a meeting that gets those on there. Does anybody have any information around whether we've held that session yet for 1.7? I'm a little bit light on the details in terms of when the date is to get things locked in for 1.7.
So each SIG has to decide for themselves which VEPs they want. So, most of the VEPs are compute. So, it's usually discussed quite a bit in compute, but this is purely storage. So, the main thing we need somebody to be able to shepherd this through the entire process.
Okay. And I guess for right now, we pretty much have, and the person to shepherd that, they need themselves to be a SIG storage approver, I would assume. So that seems like,
So they can review PRs and things like that.
okay. So right now, that's pretty much in terms of full-time folks, that's pretty much Alex.
And Shelly, I believe Shelly has approver as well.
Okay, I don't see her on, but
Yeah, she went home sick, so
okay.
Yeah, I can take that one, try to help. But just so I'm clear, like I don't have to implement this, just need somebody to help you like with reviews and all that stuff.
yes. So the general flow is that whoever proposes the VEP is the one that does the implementation, but they have a dedicated person to help them review and get stuff merged. So that's the biggest problem people have, right? Is getting reviews and getting stuff merged.
yeah, the implementation is already done, let's say, because when I started with this, I was not aware of the web, all the process, or maybe I started before that. So we got the code first, and then it was this change basically. So basically, I did the PR first, and then the VFT. So
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need to get this onto the dashboard then? I'm trying to remember where to find that.
is the one that I posted in the chat.
Let's see. Oh, whoops. Oh, in the chat. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm clicking all over the place here. Where is the chat? I'm not used to Zoom that much here. Where is chat?
Yes,
Oh, there it is.
It is the link you posted in the chat.
Okay. Okay, and then I'm not sure how we if I'm able to add them or okay, we have it here already. Okay.
Yeah, so we set the status. And the first it goes to track. And when it's a track that says we have somebody that will assist with the whole process.
Okay, so I would assign, do I assign this VEP? Oh, no, is it, or it's the tracking issue, right? This one, and what is this? Oh, wait, that's the pull request. What is I thought there was like an issue.
Yeah,
Okay, hold on.
Go to issues, there should be a one.
Yeah, so it's this one. So I can do an assign to Alex. Oh, nice. There's the spreadsheet already. Cool. So, yep. So we've got that, and then we mark it as a milestone is
Actually, the assignee should be the one implementing it, not the person shepherding. So you're right now it's set to Alex. So
okay. I can't, so it has to be, I have to go back to this one and assign it. Is your what's your GitHub handle, German?
I can write it in the chat.
Okay. Is it this? You guys see
Yes,
this?
exactly. Yes, that one.
Okay. So do we track anywhere in here who the like
yeah, we'll keep it like that so we know both people are in there.
okay. And then it's already the 1.7 sheet, so it's implied that we're there. So yeah, I guess we don't have any other storage ones so far. So we in terms of
Well,
capacity.
the object graph doesn't have a SIG assigned there, but it's mainly a storage one. If we want to
Yeah.
update it there.
Yes, we can do that. You're already assigned.
Thanks.
Mhm. And what are we doing for the target stage on that? Is that still alpha or does this make it beta?
Beta.
All right. And then I guess we should mark this as tracked on our side too. Okay. Why is decentralized live migration in here still?
It's alpha right now and we need to get it to the next stage.
Okay. Maybe we can just spend a little time looking through these. Because I guess that's important. We have I guess incremental backup is another one I'm seeing here that belongs to SIG storage. We have Michael And Michael, you're still here. I don't know to what extent will you be able to continue helping with the incremental backup one?
Yeah, I mean, I'll do some reviews, but yeah, I'll do what I can.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna put, I know that this one is tracked. And this one is tracked.
There's
And
also
so,
declarative hot plug up there too that I was working on. That yeah.
what's the status of that one? Like I know that
Well,
is there
it's so I mean it merged. It's alpha. You know, it's gonna have to go to beta and GA, and then you know it's just about managing, I guess, the feature gates at this point.
okay. And all right, that sounds good. Okay, so can I put tracked here? Does anyone oppose that? Like we already have code merged. I think do we feel like so it's alpha currently?
Yeah,
All right, and then are we like, is it, since I don't have the full context, is it reasonable to track beta for 1.7? Or
I
do
think
we want to
so.
give it
Yeah,
longer?
yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I think so.
Okay. And then incremental backup will be targeting alpha. And we already got the beta on the object graph.
Yeah,
So I
what
think,
about the decentralized live migration? Are we aiming for GA or beta?
so I do know that we want to remove the feature gate, right? So like to prove that, or to say that it's uh and make it available like and on by default. Does that are we allowed to do that while it's still in beta, or does it have to be GA before the feature gate can remove?
GA.
Okay. So do we feel like it's oops, yeah, I need to mark this as tracked. Do we think that's reason? Oh, see, this is SIG compute, I guess. I don't know if I can put that in. I can do it, I guess. I don't care. I'll take the blowback. Since I'm speaking here in the call with Alexander. Do you want to try for GA?
That
For
was my
stable?
understanding. That's not what we wanted.
Yeah, I think that's what we kind of said we needed because yeah, and I feel like it should be, I think one release should be enough to go through that, hopefully. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna scan the rest of these and make sure the ones that are marked as compute, I'm gonna leave alone. That's not us, not us, not us. Image volume to mount OCI images. I don't know if that's, oh, that's gonna be more for container disks, which I guess at some point storage should probably own, but we haven't done that. I'll let somebody drive on that one if they're wanting to do it. Because I'm not aware of anybody that
I was
is,
reviewing the implementation there. I don't think it needs like a dedicated SIG storage person. Pretty
okay.
much done.
I mean, it needs to have a SIG of some sort though. Is it us or is it compute or?
It got implemented by a compute person, but yeah, like the ownership around container disks isn't like set in stone, you know.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
they mostly wrote it, I think.
yeah, I mean, I feel like eventually container disks should probably fall within
It is
Yes.
technically, I think, if you look at the SIG storage charter, I'm pretty sure we own it.
Yeah,
Okay.
makes sense.
All right, well then let's put SIG storage on it. And it's got an assignee, so that's fine. And do you guys know, like, would the stage be alpha on that?
I think so, yeah, alpha. It's waiting on some Kubernetes graduation of that mapping feature.
Okay. All right, we got video configuration, Z, virtual machine templates, and memory CPU hot plug. So those are not ours. So I think we've got our storage list now. Let's see if I can. Wait, that didn't work. Filter by values. That doesn't work.
In the top and where it has the little search icon, it says 6
Oh,
and that's empty. Just put in 6 storage.
okay. Great, nice. So there's our view. So we have five VEPs to work through. That's a pretty good number by now. So, but I think a few of these are in better shape. I think it seems to me like going back to the initial topic of discussion, the Vert.io FSD one would require the most review. I think incremental backup was almost done. And yeah, it sounds like declarative. We're just moving through object graph. We're kind of augmenting slightly, and the image volume seems mostly done too. So that seems like a pretty containable workload from the storage side for 1.7. So let's see if we get any more. Do we know when this is when we kind of do the requirements freeze on this? I guess I could go look at the charter in here and see what. I don't know if there's a SIG review and collaboration, centralized priority at the start of each release cycle. Okay, so do we know when we're kind of freezing on stuff? VEP planning at the beginning of every release cycle. Enhancement freeze. Yeah.
Click the link, it'll probably tell you.
Sorry?
I said click the link on the go down, stop. And then number 2, there's a link on number 2. That one. That didn't help. Next release schedule.
Did I
If you
miss
go
something?
back, there was a thing that says next release schedule. I'll bet.
Okay.
That doesn't help much.
All right, so I think that if I could have somebody take this to the main KubeVirt community call on Wednesday. I think somebody from our SIG should show up there and probably propose that we get the 1.7 release dates ratified.
I'm pretty sure they're somewhere. Just they're not linked in.
Mhm.
They keep pretty good track of that. So.
Yep. But I think that's a fair point to raise there. So somebody wants to volunteer to take that AI when you appear at the Wednesday call. That's not one that that I'm able to attend.
I can bring that up, yeah.
Okay, great, thanks. All right, so anything else to cover on VEP 53? Like, how do we think we are in terms of do we feel this is ready for review yet, I can let you work with Alex on that, I guess.
Yeah, the web itself doesn't have any review because, yeah, also probably it's not. Since I'm not very familiar with the process, probably it's not correct. So the code was already reviewed from some people from Hilbert and some QE people also. But that because I did that in the wrong direction, let's say, the wrong order.
So you're trying to go straight to beta in 1.7 though, it looks like, based on this. I guess you guys can discuss that and we can update the.
Yeah. I did that. I said I was not familiar, so I just put some numbers and then I will correct everything that is not, that is incorrect, that is wrong.
Okay. All right, so I guess we can probably take it to the standard review process. Hopefully you got what you were looking for here. So we've got it on the radar and prioritized, and we have a volunteer to help with it. So thanks, Alex, for that. Anything else to cover on this topic?
Not from my side, oh, thank you.
Okay. All right, so then next we have triaging CDI issues. So data volume specific scratch space storage class.
Yeah, I asked the person that opened it to join here, but I don't see them. But what's happening there is that at least one of the people on the issue, the authors, saying that they have this concept of namespace per namespace storage classes,
Okay.
and they want different tenants of the cluster to use different storage classes for scratch space.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, just first point is that we probably don't want a new API, but and for specifically for this use case, I'd say we'd be in the right to not want a new API. But I can see how somebody wants it for the right reasons. So I'm torn between, just complicating the API and
Mm-hmm.
making them happy. Because you're not supposed to do namespace storage classes. Otherwise, it was a Kubernetes thing. They're augmenting it somehow.
Yeah, they're cluster scoped, but yeah, we're creating I thought wasn't the default behavior to, I remember we had like 3 tiers for how we choose the scratch space storage class, where I forget the order of them, but like we had it where it would use the same, one of the options was to use the same storage class as the data volume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in my comment right there, I actually lay out the order. It's first, if you have the scratch space storage class defined, it will use that one. If you don't have it defined, it will use the default storage class. And if there is no default storage class, it should use the same one as the target PVC.
Okay, so
now I think what we could do is give a flag where we flip the order so that it would be scratch space first and then the same storage class and skip the default storage class.
I feel like, so I'm interested in what folks would think about, like, why do we need an option to change that other than because we're afraid to change longstanding behavior? But in light of this, like, how bad would it be to shift the order of selecting the scratch space storage class to say that if it's configured, we use that. Otherwise, we use the same storage class that is being used to provision the disk.
Actually, I think
there-
that's what one of the comments is saying if you scroll down. Technically it's an API, but I see what you mean, that it's not like a strong promise.
Like we are providing a, although then I could see somebody if they didn't like that behavior, like they were used to it going to the default storage class. I also wonder if we're handling the vert default correctly in this particular case. I would hope we got that correct, but imagine if we forgot this and we're still using the regular default storage class for Scratch, which could be okay too. Like vert default was mostly important for executing the VM, but for Scratch space, it's just Scratch space.
Yeah, it was part of the proposal, and we were thinking that there's nothing vert about that Scratch work. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
were okay, and I'm pretty sure we also tested that you just picked the default. It's the vert default is not a parameter for Scratch.
Okay, yeah, here's the comment that came up that request or that suggested what I just said. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, this is not an API per se. It would be a behavior change, but like, and we documented it. So in a way, we're kind of committed. So I'd be interested, like for me, I think the potentially lowest friction would be to switch the logic around so that the Scratch space that's being used is next to or using the same storage as the storage class used to provision the disk itself. That seems kind of like logical to me. And that's always file system read write once. So really any storage class should be able to handle that. I just wonder if we would see, like, does anybody feel that that's, I mean, it is introducing risk into something that's been largely forgettable in terms of functionality that's been stable for a long time. So it makes me a little scared to change the logic, but
Yeah,
wonder what
just the things that we can foresee that go wrong once you change the promise. That's, of course, I would like to avoid the new API explicit field.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have no particular issue with switching the order. It was somewhat arbitrary. To me, it didn't make sense to do the one for the target PVC before the default because you should always have a target PVC, so the default sort of doesn't make any sense anymore if you switch the order. That's why it's default first and then but the reasoning is fairly arbitrary, so I see no reason why we can't switch it.
Right. And if they don't care about the storage class, it would be the default storage class and also using it for the Scratch. So like in a lot of cases, at least I'm thinking about probably in the testing we do, in a lot of cases, it's going to practically end up using the same storage. I think it could be like
We have any particular tests that have different Scratch space storage class versus the same or versus the storage class used for the actual target PVC.
wonder if we have any QE. We have Genia here. Like, I don't know if Genia, would you want to weigh in on this? Does it make sense what we're proposing? And do you anticipate any issues with it based on your knowledge of the testing we do?
So I don't think we explicitly checked the storage class that was used for the Scratch space, and I don't see a problem of using the same storage class for the Scratch space as for the DV. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
it
see
seems
how it can harm.
it almost seems to make more sense to do it that way. Like logically in my mind. What I would say that we could do, since it's not a committed, like this isn't an API change, like we're still respecting the storage class if it's configured in either way. We're just changing kind of implicit implementation detail, if you will. Like granted the behavior is changing, but we do that all the time. We're changing our FS overhead calculations to try to correct those as well, right? And that's not something that is super guaranteed in the API anyway. So like I think that we're not breaking a contract by changing this because we're changing implicit behavior, not explicit behavior. And it's early enough in the 1.7 release cycle that we could try a PR, and if we discover things that blow up or get a bunch of complaints about it, then we could revert it and try something explicit if it's bothering people. So I think there'd be a path to switch the order.
Yeah, now
I
we
think,
just have to find somebody to actually do the work. So
yeah.
it
I
should be
mean,
pretty straightforward, but
maybe we could suggest that one of these folks submit the PR. I'm gonna just try to summarize the discussion that we had. What's the name of the API? Is it just use the HCO configured,
well, it's the CDI configured.
or yeah, I guess, yeah. CDI
HCL is
configured.
not configured in CDI, but it is configured in CDI.
I don't need to add that language.
And there actually was a fourth option that is not really relevant, but if there was no default and there was no storage class, then it would just assume these were like PVs that weren't assigned to a storage class and just let Kubernetes figure it out and hope it works essentially. So well, that was sort of like the last resort, which is it's sort of
Static
like,
PVs, right? Yeah.
But if there is no default and you do not specify it in the DV, then DV will not be provisioned at all.
No, if you have no storage class, or it would use the default storage class if you don't specify the storage class. But if there is no default storage class, then it would just attempt to bind, the PVC to a PV that would match. Same access mode, volume mode, size matches.
Right, and in that case, we can't infer volume mode, access mode, though, so those have to
Right.
be articulated,
Yeah.
which is reasonable, when there's no storage class or storage profile. So I think that's kind of
That scenario
orthogonal.
is very rare nowadays, but
Yeah.
it used to be much more common.
Yep. Okay, so I've put the summary of what we think the correct path forward is, and I really like it when we encourage the community to, you know, contribute instead of us just trying to take on RFEs for folks. So let's give them a chance to contribute. I would say.
And you can probably
And-
mark this one as a good first issue because it should be relatively straightforward. So
The one with the dash is yeah, it's the one that gets tracked.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you. All right, so let's go back up to the issues. And we have one more that's newer than that. Headless service for CDI upload proxy.
Yeah, I mean, the request makes sense. Just kind of take over. We don't let the user create a service. I wonder if we can somehow, actually, if they just create the service themselves, I think we'll just back off and use their service. But then they have to know the selector and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of have to know CDI internals in order to craft the service. I don't know if that's acceptable.
So is the service for the upload proxy, is it something that's always part of our deployment then? So you're saying like if they created that before they installed?
Oh, sorry, yeah, they want for the upload proxy. Yeah, I thought they needed a, yeah. So yeah, it's actually I think yeah, it's always installed. And we could actually it'll be a little harder to back off trying to reconcile it, but doable.
I'm honestly
Yeah.
not sure I understand this.
Yeah, I confess I don't really understand
I
it
don't
as well.
understand what, so, load proxy to operate in headless mode. This would allow clients to connect. What I don't understand is like the point, allow clients connect directly to the backend pods, like the upload server pods directly.
And I want to
And
skip.
so in kube proxy, not sure, I mean, that's when the node port is used, right? I mean, usually you're going through a router or ingress or something.
So I think it's clear to me that I need to ask if you could elaborate on your exact use case a bit.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with, so I guess just to the first point, if they want to connect directly to the backend pods, then they're going to have to need, like we have all those certs for each, so they would have to use the client cert that gets generated, and whereas the upload proxy and the token, yeah, because like going directly to the upload proxy pods, yeah, they'll need the TLS certificates that kind of bypasses the whole upload token thing. But I'm not really sure I understand what's going on here, what they're asking.
Yeah, I mean, I hate, I mean, the power of the operator reconciling resources is that, it keeps the system in a known state. So if we start creating, exceptions where we won't reconcile something and then people modify the service and they get weird results or whatever, then we're gonna have like a lot of snowflake environments. So like in general, having the operator, like this would have to be almost like an API that says don't create the service, like self-managed service or something like that. And that would be, yeah, it seems a bit like I understand the desire to remove the kube proxy from the data path, which seems like it could be good, but I don't really understand what they're
My
doing.
understanding of kube proxy is that's like a service that runs on each node and facilitates like the node port connection, right? So if you're using the node port to connect to upload proxy, then yeah, you're gonna use kube proxy, but I don't think that usually, yeah, we have a router or ingress so the node, so that kube proxy is not used in that case. So if you're not using kube proxy, then yeah, I guess then there's no node port access, which maybe that's what they want. They don't want the node port. I don't know.
I just worry about like, yeah, I don't know. It seems like I don't know if they're uploading from another pod on the pod network then or something, or so they're on cluster already. But yeah, like understanding the bigger picture of exactly what they're trying to do would make sense to me, I think, before we consider this further.
It's can you guys hear me, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty much just moving to headless service, so like not have any cluster IP and allow pods within the cluster to directly reference the DNS record of the upload proxy service. So instead of like going through translation from the service and then going through kube proxy for load balancing, it just directly goes to the pod that matches it, which is only a single one because we don't have like replicas for the CDI upload proxy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it does remove the node port, of course. It won't use node port, so it's a bit of a weird request because without node port, usually you won't be able to interact with the upload proxy from like externally as a user that uses Vertcattle, for example. But yeah.
But if you're in the cluster, I mean, I guess within the cluster, there's just the IP table rules set up. So the cluster IP is like a fake IP that just gets translated to ultimately. If you're in the, I don't think that, are there any efficiencies for in the cluster operation? I don't think so, right?
It just bypasses the kube proxy in the sense that it doesn't need to, like, how kube proxy operates in terms of like how it configures the relevant load balancing, at least in IP tables, is completely random. So if you have like 3 replicas, it doesn't add any weights whatsoever. Just like picks one at random. So it just skips that because we don't have any replicas, and it just resolves to the pod IP via the DNS, like the DNS record.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just, yeah. But there's no process in the middle. Like there's no actual like ultimately, if you're in the cluster, you do connect directly to the product, maybe through a weird IP. It's just the records. There's no like I don't know. When I think of proxy, I think of like a process that is like receiving data and then sending it to another process, and that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, even if it is, like I don't really understand why we need this so-called improvement. That's
Yeah. So we'll get some context from them before moving forward. But I would say, I guess the other question that I have is, can you have 2 services pointing to the same pod, because like if we did decide to do this for them, could we just have the operator maintain a service
Yeah,
with
we
a
can.
slightly different name, like Dash Direct or something like that, and it has this spec, and then keep the initial one, and then basically for people who want to skip the node port stuff, they could use the Dash Direct service with
Yeah,
that DNS name.
I think I remember even back in the day we allowed like allowing people to use their own service.
Mhm.
Actually, we could do even better. Like a few years ago, somebody contributed this patching functionality, and apparently it works on services as well. Pasted it in the chat. So if they really wanted, they just need to craft like just a JSON patch on the CDI CR that targets the service, and they're good to go. But yeah, you could just create your own and run them both.
Mhm.
I assume they hit an issue with that, otherwise they wouldn't have opened the issue to CDI. I don't know why though, like it makes sense that it should work.
Do you want to write that that like ask them in the
Sure.
issue if they've considered that and did it work for them? Yeah, because if we can, I mean, I guess yeah, if that could be a workable solution for them, then we don't need to do something, because like this is the first time I've heard of a request like this. So it'll be interesting to see what their use case is. I mean, I think, yeah, a patch is nice because we like nobody else has to worry about it, but also if we can expose two services instead of one to satisfy them, if it seems like a good enough use case, then that could be an option too.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is they have a limited number of cluster IPs or something, or they don't want to use that.
Yeah, maybe we can ask them further, like, do they have performance numbers, like if they, but we don't think that going through like kube proxy isn't retransmitting data or anything, so I wouldn't expect there to be a huge performance difference. Yeah, it seems a mystery for right now. Like I'd be worried if there's any, I guess there shouldn't really be any security concerns. It's a standard construct, but something else to consider. All right. So let's leave this one here as is. I think the ball is in the reporter's court now. We are, I think, at the technical end. Was there anybody that had any other topics? I'm going to switch back to the agenda again and see if anyone added anything.
I wanted to quickly discuss the next issue in the list, actually.
Sure. Okay.
And that one, yeah, I think that's an actual bug. So it's pretty specific. So they have, I think, a NetApp storage, and that stores the disks, the template disks in a snapshot. But when they restore the snapshot into a PVC, it's switching to a file system PVC instead of a block volume, and that's causing it to do a host assisted clone instead of just a CSI copy. And I think there's a bug in the way we decide which volume mode to use when we restore from a snapshot in that particular flow.
If you scroll down, we already bisected it to their volume snapshot content CRs not having the volume mode on them. So, like physically, there's no way for CDI to derive it. Normally, for a few years now, it's already beta, so they should have this field on the volume snapshots, but they don't. And I asked them why. Like, if they give a good reason, then we can brainstorm how to infer it, but I think it's physically impossible. Unless they annotate their snapshots, we cannot tell which volume mode it was. So the best we can do is just either respect an annotation, which we did briefly during the transition period years ago.
Mhm.
And yeah, I don't know if that'll make them happy anyway. Like I suspect it's just some wrong configuration from the Portworx side on the CRs, on like sorry, not the CRs, on the sidecar flags or something like that. Because the feature itself is GA, beta, something like that.
Mhm. Okay, so the ball, are we saying the ball is in their court to
Yeah, yeah.
work with Portworx on that?
Yeah, I even gave them, like, you see that command there?
Mhm.
That, to me, that's the only explanation, once they give the output of that, that could provide the only explanation why they have it disabled. And I would be really interested to know why they have it disabled.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Well, I think then that's thanks for your for helping there, Alex, on that one. I think that in this case the ball's in their court on that one as well. Hopefully this is someone else's issue and not for us to fix. All right. Anything else that we need to look at? Any other last minute items, things that came up for people during the call that they want to raise before we end? Sounds like not. So in that case, I think we can wrap up the call. Thanks everybody for joining. And we'll see you in 2 weeks at the next SIG storage call.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank
Bye bye. Bye.
Bye bye.